Hey, people. This is what they call the Narmer pallet. They say it's about 3,500 years old or older. And they say that this was the first dynasties in Egypt. And so none of their story comes together because, this guy, he's got a right hand and a left hand. You see all that artwork in Egypt. They have two rights or two lefts. And they'll say that, well, they didn't know how to make different hands. But they're real good at making right and left hands. And this guy, he wears a shower cap and he got some kind of slick hat on. So a hippie got him a headband. And hippies. And here you got another hippie. And here you got a couple Africans, and they're wearing afros. And these look mixed. They look mixed here in between the hippies. And these guys wear a dick on their head. And so that's letting you know there's something important about the headwear. They cut their head slap off and cut their dick off and put it on their head. And I think that's to let you know they were dickheads. Those were, dictators and heads, rulers, the dickheads. And so the two guys with the afros, they got them a couple lions on a leash. And they're like they're trying to pit them up and make them fight. And so I told you in that last movie, this was the laws of trespassing, the trespass offering. And I told you this word here. I have to go back in the Hebrew and read it and figure this out. I had to go back and forth a couple times. But that's exactly what this is. And to aim the afros, A-F-R-O-S. And this X-E-E is chi they. It means, they say it means they have. You see, the chi is this he has part. Or he holds a scepter. Or he has. But I believe it's more of they with the E-Y. And to aim the afros, they have the fight in Basin 2. The fight in Basin 2. To see as their use cycle. And that's what it's talking about, is mixing up the burnt offering. And that's what they'll tell you that this is. They say it was a makeup palette. And this was a little area where you would grind your makeup. But it looks like a three-part is what they're serving here. And what of aim approach they the fighting basin? And so where they're aiming the lions to approach they the fighting basin, they're making a little basin where you grind to a doozy as there you cycle, where you grind it up. And that's why they jammed this word, lion over here as fun. And so they have several different word numbers for lion in the Hebrew. I think I was reading it in the Greek and it said somewhere, and when they run for the trees, and when they is what they give lion, when they run for the trees, talking about all the people in the trees, it never uses the word lion, but it's insinuating that that's what happened, a lion come by. Upon to steer of to, a force of is they, a fought of, within as fun, fight for fun. They were a force of is they, of fought of what in as fun. What to steer to cat, a call of taunt, a catacall of taunt. And a right over here is induce they. The catacall, a taunt is induce they. Upon to steer, to the fight on, to the fight of vend as they on. The fight to vend. This N becomes a V before this E. To vend as they on. They're selling cat fights. So this oster, you see it come up many times in here. Upon it, oster, or a font, F-A-N-T, a font oster. You see it all through here. And what WT, what Oster, and in a font Oster, and what Oster. In English, coming from the Greek, meaning bitter or harsh, from the Oster, O-S-T-E-R, meaning grim or lacking decoration, not extravagant or gaudy. Not the extravagant or gaudies. And you got the Osters all going out to battle with the cesspool. This is the ancient X. It's a fish hook. You know, it's a cess in a pool. And they're going out to fight with the cesspool. You know it's a cesspool. This is an image of a septic tank. See, he's going for the nose, to cover the nose, to kill the smell. And this is possibly the mark for an ost ear. The old cauliflower ear. You see it on fighters. Oh, ost ear. You won't see it on the rest of them. Just here on the fighting forces, they all have these big ost ears. And surely spelled like that to go with words before is in a last ear or a toast ear or a must hear or the stero too. And in these parables up here, you know, this is where they're getting that rams from. And you see their ears are the camellia. And all four of them have these camellia ears. They have eyes changing different seasons, but they have the camellia, because my camellia is evergreen. It never loses a leaf. And so that's why they're putting ram on this cry of, and also on this cry on. You know, and this is a cry on this. What do you cry on? You're crying in my ear. The cry on this means ear. And how-tos on them as to a cry of to appear. The spell of camellias on ya, any of is it of vestin, on any of is in top of squats who see. And you see this, in fact, it'll read here the same, but in other Bible, it have a couple different markings in the Septuagint. It reads as the top of a pot. On top of a pot of squats who see, on the toilet. And even here with just this mark, it means to read it into and then backwards, a pot, into a pot of squats who see to. In a pot of shit. A loco whatum as fats who see. You know, this is F-A-T-S, the fats, and that's where they're getting all that fat from down here on the ear. To a loco whatum as fats of sit on cry on this. The fats who sit on, you know, the rulers, and the cry on this, their ears. The cry on this, the rulers' ears. The cry on the spell of camellias. In anti-cure you. In a preventive medication. In an anti-cure. In an anti-curier. What of aim approach they, the fighting basin, to a doozy as there you cycle. And that's what it's talking about, is this camellia, the T. You know, that's the ram's ears there. The cry on, the spell camellias in anti-cure you. And they'll say it's of the most ancient medicines, but there's no proof that it has any benefit. And that's mainly because all your modern researchers can't read any of the ancient language. They don't know how to prepare it. They don't know which magic spells to chant. Everything's got to be harvested under its sign at the right time. And you have to have the right magic spell to go with it. So I told you it'd be a while before I got one up, but I had the most horrible day yesterday. I couldn't sleep. I had to come read my Bible in order to clear my mind. But them damn copper thieves, they destroyed everything. They cut the power pole down to steal the copper out of it. So I got a bit done yesterday, but I see that I got a lot more work I got to do. I've got to figure out how to be in two places at one time so I can bring stuff from one place to the other and not have it disappear. when I make another trip. I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.